Do you want to be able to memorize what you study like the world's smartest people? You'll be shocked when you see just how easy it can be. Here, in part 1 of this 2-part series, you're about to learn the surprisingly simple secrets of how to remember, retain, and then recall vast amounts of information faster and better than you ever dreamed possible. In fact, stay tuned to the end where you'll personally experience just how well this technique works for you. It'll blow your mind with how easily you ace the little quiz that'll prove it to you. Here's why you don't remember what you study as well as you'd like. You don't have any sort of mental filing system. Right now, you're just putting information into your head in a random way. I call it the pile versus the file. It's like you're throwing all the details about what you study onto the floor of a great big empty room in your mind. As you study more stuff, the pile gets bigger and bigger. It's easy to find the stuff on top of the pile, but it becomes extremely difficult to find the stuff you put in the pile a day ago or a week ago. The stuff you put there last month is really buried now. Good luck trying to retrieve it when you need it. We're going to create a mental filing system where you can put the new information away in an orderly fashion as you learn it. That way, you can find it when you need it. Make sense? Of course. By the way, I realize there's a huge difference between memorizing something and actually understanding it. However, while understanding any subject is critically important, it ultimately won't matter if you aren't able to retain and recall the facts, formulas, definitions, and details when you need them. Are you with me? Ultimately, having a super powerful memory comes down to just 2 basic tasks: imagination and connection. Imagination is a longer form of the word image. It's the pictures you hold inside your head. You're going to see how to make them and what to do with them. The other task, connection, provides you with a method for remembering the image. It provides you a framework or a filing system for your images. In short, you are going to create a system of reminders. Look at the word, remind. It brings the thought back into your mind. One of the most ancient examples is tying a string around your finger. The string and the finger have nothing to do with what you want to remember. It simply acts as a reminder. It causes you to recall why you put it there in the first place. You may have heard of something called a memory palace. That's the new fad expression being used. Me? I call this system a memory map. The original term for this is the loci method. It comes from the Greek word for places or locations. This is an ancient technique that dates back to about 500 BC and to the Greek poet and orator named Simonides. He was said to have been able to recall the names of all 30,000 residents of ancient Athens. When Simonides would memorize a poem or speech that he wanted to deliver, he would think about the first line or first thought to say. Then he'd create a symbolic mental image to represent that thought. For example, if he was going to start with a reference to love, he might imagine a giant heart or a young couple kissing. If the topic had to do with peace, he might imagine doves. Then he'd go to the first place, and while standing on the front steps of the building where he was going to deliver his talk, he'd connect his image to that place. Perhaps a flock of doves flying away as he walked up the steps. Then as he walked around, he'd create another image representing the next point he wanted to make and connect it to the next place. He'd continue doing that. Then, when he'd begin his talk, he would begin by saying, "In the first place." And today, that's where that expression comes from. So the first part of creating our filing system is to have a filing cabinet. You need a place to put your files. One mental filing cabinet you can use is the place where you live. Walk into each room and pay attention to what's in it. Every room has at least 10 places to put things. 4 walls, 4 corners, the ceiling, and the floor. For example, you can mentally tour your bedroom and designate what items on each wall and in each corner to use. Your bed, a picture, a window, a plant. Look at the ceiling. Maybe you notice a light fixture or a crack. Look at the floor. Is there a rug or a table? As you move through your home or any other building, like your school, select your items in the 10 places in each room. Now you've built a memory palace, or even more appropriately, your memory map. Review the items in each place on your map regularly. That makes it very easy to recall them in rapid order. It's one less thing to think about. By the way, if you really want to develop a super powerful memory, then I'd like to recommend my video-based training course, How to Have an Incredible Memory. The link is in the description below the video. Earlier, I promised that you'd get a chance to blow your mind with how well this technique can help you memorize things. So now, let's put it to the test and learn something medical. We'll use the major systems of the human body. They are skeletal, muscular, circulatory, respiratory, nervous, digestive, urinary, endocrine, lymphatic, reproductive, integumentary, and immune. Now, I'm not a biologist or a medical student. I've seen books where the skeletal and muscular systems are combined into the musculoskeletal system, and others where they're considered separate. I've also seen the immune system listed as a separate system, and then sometimes not. Here's our room. TV on one wall, lazy boy recliner in the corner, big plant along the wall, end table in the corner, sofa against the wall, door in the corner, big mirror on the wall, painting in the corner, chandelier on the ceiling, coffee table on the floor. Here we go. Skeletal. Imagine a skeleton on TV, or that your TV is made of bones. Muscular. A super muscular bodybuilder all oiled up, sitting in the lazy boy chair. Circulatory. A giant heart in the plant and the leaves all covered in blood. Respiratory. A giant set of lungs on the end table, breathing in and out. Nervous. A group of very nervous people fidgeting on the sofa. Digestive. Eating the door like a giant cookie or cracker. Hard to digest. Urinary. Peeing all over the mirror. Endocrine, which is the hormone system. Endocrine sounds like end of cream. Pouring the last bit of cream from the carton on the painting. End of cream on the painting. Lymphatic, which is the drainage system. Lymphatic sounds like limp, fat, tick. A big fat tick who's very limp, hanging from the chandelier. Reproductive. A ton of rabbits all over the coffee table reproducing like crazy. Integumentary, which is your skin. The integumentary has the word gum in it. If I had an area rug on the floor under the coffee table, maybe it's made of human skin and covered in chewed pink bubble gum. Yikes. Immune. Under my imaginary area rug, there's a bunch of hypodermic needles which could represent the immune system. Quick review. Skeletal. Skeleton on TV. Muscular. Muscle man in the chair. Circulatory. Blood and heart on the plant. Respiratory. End table. Breathing in and out with a big pair of lungs on it. Nervous. Bunch of nervous people fidgeting on the sofa. Digestive. Eating the door like a cracker. Urinary. Peeing on the mirror. Endocrine. Pouring the end of cream on the painting. Lymphatic. A limp, fat tick hanging from the chandelier. Reproductive. Rabbits reproducing all over the coffee table. Bonus points. Integumentary. The imaginary area rug made of human skin covered in pink bubblegum. Immune. Under the imaginary rug, we found a pile of used needles, representing the immune system. Okay, you do it. TV, chair, plant, end table, sofa, door, mirror, painting, chandelier, coffee table, rug, under the rug. Bang zoom, baby! If you missed any of them, it's only because you didn't see the image clearly enough. Simple solution is to practice viewing the images a couple of times, and you'll have the entire list down pat. Next, in part 2, I'm going to show you how to supercharge this idea. The memory map is great for big topics like we just did, but what happens when each item on your list has multiple parts? In other words, each item has a list of its own. How do you make sublists from each item on your memory map? Click the link to go to part 2 now, or you can choose this other video that YouTube has selected just for you. And remember, if you want to get more in-depth on the subject of memorizing, then be sure to check out the link in the description below for my video-based training course, How to Have an Incredible Memory. I will look forward to seeing you on my other videos soon.